Social media didn't just change entertainment, it actually changed childhood.
The death of tween and teen media has me so sad because all these kids are acting like they're 25.
I look better than your mammy, your sister, your family, your granny.
In high school. I'm in high school. You need to calm down.
I think it's insane how some 17-year-olds look older than 30-year-olds these days. Like, realistically, these girls nowadays look so much older than even me.
Can we stop normalizing 10-year-olds dressing like they're 25? Like, I used to look like this when I was like 9 or 10.
I think we lost the plot when kids stopped dressing like this.
JT lip combo.
These are the girls.
You guys decided to post pictures of hairstyles that you deemed age appropriate for 11-year-old girls because you felt that the styles and the barrettes that they had in their hair was just too pubescent. Because God forbid that a child be just too childish. God forbid that children be children, right? No, not in this society, not in this new day and age. A child being a child? Oh no, that's unheard of.
Do you understand that the adultification of our young black girls today is real? We're in a society today in which our young daughters are being punished at a harsher rate in school than kids of other cultures for the same incident. And why is that? I truly believe that this whole adultification thing is just absolutely crazy. It is causing teachers to look at these girls and subconsciously think they're older than they really are. What Forget the aspect of school. Let's talk about actually outside in society. These 12, 13, and 15-year-olds are getting hit on by grown men because they look like this. Now, I can't necessarily be mad at them, their children. I'm upset at the parents, quite frankly. And more the dads in particular, being a father myself. I have learned over time that I have to not only protect my girls from society, but protect them from themselves as well. It is my job as a parent to create boundaries for them. And I know that's difficult today. We're in a fast paced society in which children are being raised by social media. But if you check out the young lady who's on the screen right now and look at her children and what they're dressed like, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I had a young lady walk up to my wife in the grocery store. Our daughter's 15. She actually said to my wife, "Thank you for having her dressed her age."
Unfortunately, y'all hate on Northwest because y'all parents were wage slaves that couldn't afford to allow y'all to explore self-expression.
In today's world, young girls have increasingly started to look grown beyond their years. And the real question is, why are we enabling it? And by we,
And I love everything they doing with Northwest. I truly do. She's very expressive. Go ahead, girl.
I mean some of y'all. Let's rewind the clock just a little bit. As young girls and preteens, how many times did some of us impulsively decide that we wanted to get face piercings or a tattoo sleeve? But then the sparkles in our eyes quickly faded because our parents and caregivers just wouldn't allow it. Or we tried going to the mall in an outfit we had no business putting together at 14.
Wait, how old are y'all?
I'm 14.
And it never saw the light of day because
Do you see what the two young ladies were wearing? That is a crop top. You're technically walking outside in a bra. Dads, we have to do better. We really, really do. Even if we are not with our parents, or I'm sorry, our child's mother, we still have to do a good job or a better job in teaching our young girls that childhood is sacred. Enjoy being a child. You do not have to sit here and go out into the world trying to be an adult too quickly. Because what happens is then you end up getting treated like an adult. And quite frankly, you guys aren't ready for that yet.
Again, our parents wouldn't allow it. Or we tried a makeup look that never left the reflection in our bedroom vanity because our parents wouldn't allow it. And with each of these moments, we may have wished to be older to express ourselves without constraints. But that thought quickly faded the second we turned on Disney Channel and we were reminded to be kids.
You're a woman. No, I'm not. I'm not a woman. I'm 16 years old.
Back in the day, we grew into women at a really slow pace. But what happens when that timeline gets cut short and all of a sudden that last chance at being a kid disappears?
I did a photo shoot for a young lady this past weekend, okay? And she's getting into modeling, teenager getting into modeling. Did a bunch of great photos for her, headshots, all that good stuff. The second half of that photo shoot was literally just me taking photos of her to remind her that she's still a kid. I took some of the shots and she just looked at them like, wow, that's really incredible. And I said, the reasoning for these photos is just to remind you that even though you're doing this, it's still all right to just be a kid. I mean, she actually thanked me for that. Oh, boy.
Era of the preteen is basically non-existent and social media has replaced it. And because of it, young girls are being influenced to look and act way older than they are. But it gets worse because actual grown women are encouraging it and justifying it under this idea of self-expression, trying to heal their inner child.
Northwest is literally living out a lot of our dreams
At the expense of actual children. We need
Northwest is living out a lot of our dreams. Because the more I hear that, I can go, okay, that makes sense because someone was there to protect you from yourself. If you got to live out your dreams, so to speak, and you were able, the restraints were taken off of you as a child, you would have ended up today, most likely, a completely different person. And I promise you it wouldn't have been for the better.
to talk about it. Let's get started with today's video. Hi, what's up? Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Melinda, and if this is your first time stumbling upon my channel or seeing my face, welcome. Feel free to hit that subscribe button down below to join this community, but like I will always say, you can make that decision at the very end of this video. But with all that being said, before we can even dive into the very significant issue of young girls looking way older than they actually are, we need to go back in time. Back in the mid-2000s and the early 2010s, being a kid, enjoying kid things, and most importantly, looking like a kid was encouraged. I'm an O2, so I'm amongst the target age demographic that corporations and companies spoiled growing up. Child-friendly forms of entertainment and preteen media existed at such a large scale. For example, the Disney franchise that dominated in the early 2000s up until the early 2010s.
Hannah Montana, Sunny with the Channel, Fish Hooks, Good Luck, wow.
With a variety of popular TV shows and movies that left a lasting imprint on so many of us. As children, and especially as young girls, we had so many child stars to look up to. I mean, from Hannah Montana to Alex Russo in Wizards of Waverly Place, Raven in That's So Raven, Rocky and Cece in Shake It Up. I mean, the list goes on and on. These ladies, just to name a few, inspired us and became a part of our blueprint to fashion, style, beauty, and sometimes even our personalities.
Squint and run. No, I don't run.
Oh my God.
Some of us even played with Barbies and Bratz dolls. I was Team Bratz over here, and we watched their movies and series, allowing us to experience a whole other universe. Bratz may have been a little bit controversial with how they were styled, but as a young girl, I knew that dressing like Sasha would only come at a later period in my life. I was in no rush whatsoever. Back then, our version of doomscrolling was through teen magazines like Popstar, M Magazine, just to name a few. We read our horoscopes, did quizzes, gained the inside scoop on age-appropriate pop culture drama, and so on and so on. Fast forwarding to our preteen years, we shopped at the mall with friends looking for trendy outfits in our favorite teen store.
I'm telling you, COVID killed a lot of different things. When COVID showed up 2019, 2020, that the whole aspect of people having to stay in their homes forced an even higher level of what would be doom scrolling today. I'm telling you, people were constantly on screens. People were constantly on. That's all they had. You were at home, you were doing school from home, which means you were forced to see your teachers on screens. And what do you know? You have other tabs open that had YouTube and Instagram and all of that good stuff. And it just forced our young children or even middle-aged children to be online much more than they were supposed to. Now, for someone like me, I had to go through that as well with, my daughter. And it got to a point in which I was like, you know what? I have to seriously look at the amount of time that she stays on a screen and allow her to play outside still so she can get the exercise, so she can get some sunlight and all of that. I mean, do you remember when we were younger? I'm an 80s baby. Do you remember when we were younger when summertime meant being outside and playing outside and you come in smelling like outside? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's not that anymore. I'm telling you. It's a different world today.
Here in Canada, the place to be was Garage Clothing, and it strictly targeted the youth. They even went as far as selling candy at checkout. However, today, a lot of these stores have rebranded to reach an older audience, or they've gone completely bankrupt.
Players has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy again.
I love Garage, but what the actual fuck are they doing? Like, has anyone seen, like, the poses the models
That's absolutely crazy.
do, and like
Look at that.
how overly sexualized everything is? Like, children shop here.
However, as they say, all good things come to an end, and our favorite shows were slowly ending, wrapping up their final seasons like Hannah Montana, Sweet Life on Deck, and Wizards of Waverly Place. Some of our favorite stars were also ready to embark on their own journeys and break out of the Disney contract and break loose from the Disney image. Therefore, we started clinging to YouTube a little bit tighter for entertainment. Eventually, in the early 2010s, social media was growing rapidly and gaining the attention of the upcoming wave of preteens, most notably Instagram. I was class of 2020, so I was starting high school in 2015. I know, crazy.
Instagram today is terrible. Instagram today is the #1 dating app on the planet. And again, dads, we have to do a good job at catching this at a young age, because right now, you can't necessarily say that the men are over-sexualizing the women. The women are doing it themselves. Do you see some of these? It's to the point in which some of these young ladies have actual managers. I mean, I said it in my previous video. Sex sells, one, and two, the fastest way for women to make money today is to sell their body. How do we fix that? Catch them at a young age. Be more involved.
And for many of us, we could finally relate to our favorite child stars, and we went into this new chapter of our lives feeling ready. And now, back in the present day of 2026, Disney Channel, as we once knew it, has ended and continues to have a serious decline in ratings and views, barely impacting today's youth.
From 2014 to 2023, Disney Channel's average number of daily viewers in the US has dropped from 1.96 million to 130,000.
As a 23-year-old, I'm sitting here impacted. That was my childhood. And instead of watching child-friendly media, preteens nowadays are watching mature content like Love Island, or watching streams and streamers that don't always promote age-appropriate behaviors.
Ghettohood and of being like a cringe teen really died with this era of social media. Like I hadn't realized how much social media content used to be so deep rooted in like humor and skits and almost like childhoodness until you compare it to like the social media landscape now. No wonder the little girls are trying to be adults and like ransacking Sephora, turning into these most like aesthetic little consumeristic beings.
Staying in.
We have to learn to protect childhood, you guys. I'm serious. We are doing a poor job at protecting childhood, but we also have to understand that this is the first time in history in which we are actually fighting what we're fighting in social media. Kids are coming home from school and sometimes in school on social media. Social media is helping raise our children. I mean, we have to, and we also have this issue with letting kids be kids. It's crazy how I hear culturally and hear that, you know, our teenage girls get to a specific age and now, you know, we're helping pay bills and this and that and all that good stuff and their kids aren't allowed to be kids. I mean, the teen pregnancy rate in the United States is absolutely crazy because we're at a point right now in which kids are going online and being radicalized by what they see on social media, and it's making it harder for parents to actually parent. But we still have to actually parent, you guys. We have to make a conscious effort to monitor what our children are watching, monitor what our children are doing, and not just throwing them out to get rid of them because parenting is hard. It is. But these children did not choose to be brought into this world. We have to do a better job.
Grown people's business and being influenced by behaviors they shouldn't be.
And didn't I fucking tell y'all was children watching Love Island with us this season?
Nobody got y'all losing your mind.
And not only is there no entertainment left for them, but TikTok has taken over with 1 billion users as of 2022 and is now acting as a primary news source for kids ages 12 to 15. Doom scrolling is at an all-time high and our attention spans are at an all-time low, and these preteens and young girls are being bombarded by constant beauty and fashion trends.
How to know if you're a deer, bunny, fox, or cat pretty.
With the messaging always being about how to glow up. No one is truly teaching kids anymore to love themselves, to enjoy their young years, and to embrace their natural selves.
Dads, tell your children they're beautiful. Tell your girls they're beautiful. You are their first love. Okay? It's okay. Date your daughters. Yes. Take your daughters out on dates. Give them flowers. Help them to understand that sex doesn't mean love.
And everyone is in a rush to age, to be perceived as mature, and to act grown. And who better to mimic on the internet to achieve this besides grown people, because we are now their direct influences. With nowhere else to look to, they copy our mannerisms, the way we speak, the way we joke, the way we dress, the way we style ourselves, and all of the above. And the truth is, that's because they have no age-appropriate it girls to look up to. They only got the baddies on the internet.
There are no like Disney it girls. Like, who are the it girls? There are none, because the tweens they don't have their own role models, and I think it's really, really sad.
And they have no role models to look up to act as the blueprint the way we had it. All they have left is to follow trends that grown women have created and popularized, like, for example, the lingerie scandalous birthday shoots. This became a trend amongst grown women, and it was normalized, and unfortunately, young girls saw this and ran with it. And yes, unfortunately, minors were trying to recreate this birthday shoot concept. Even for an 18th birthday, the ripe age of 18, I still think it's kind of weird. Hot take.
And now that we're out of high school, so y'all can't judge me for this, Why in a world were y'all in lingerie for your 18th birthday shoot? That was not normal.
Grown women obviously have every right to do as they please and to present themselves however they feel like it on the internet. But of course, young girls are extremely impressionable, and there's no surprise that they are going to want to follow in grown women footsteps, and nobody seems to be telling them otherwise. With social media always pushing this illusion of perfection, nowadays we have high schoolers going to school dressed to the nines. Young girls with a full face of glam at 8 a.m. and everybody in the school competing with one another on who can be the flyest in class. Growing up, we weren't expected to have everything figured out, especially not our looks. And the glow up only truly occurred in early adulthood.
I think the concept of glowing up should only apply to your late teens into your early 20s, mid 20s.
However, today it's cringy just to look your age and not be the most fashionable even as a kid. But what does looking your age even look like anymore? I'm starting to observe that even grown women are forgetting what a preteen is supposed to look like. For example, we have grown women on TikTok right now fussing over two 11-year-old sisters wearing barrettes in their natural hair.
Let's take a look at this. They're going to be sneaky as AF. You leave them alone. Why are they not in a car seat? I honestly believe what this young lady is saying 100%. I think we're at a point in society today in which the young ladies that are raising these girls don't know what preteen is supposed to look like. I believe they're going from, I don't even think they know what teenage is supposed to look like. Because the teenagers, the 14, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, they don't look their age. Everybody looks 10 years older than than they actually are. And the issue with that again is they're going to be treated that way. We are throwing kids out into society way earlier than they're supposed to be there. I mean,
Grown women in the comments are upset with how the mother has decided to style her daughter's hair. And to these people in the comments, seeing two 11-year-olds with barrettes in their hair is quote unquote childish. Mind you, they're still just 11 years old. Mind you, they're still in elementary school.
Is 11 years old too old to be wearing barrettes in your hair? Absolutely. If my mama would have did that to me in 5th grade, I would have went to school crying.
What else would you see these young girls wearing? Would you want them to wear a quick weave or bundles at school? These hairstyles are also nothing new. They were extremely popular amongst young black girls in the 90s and the early 2000s. Again, I'm going to emphasize that they are 11 years old in elementary school. Just because they happen to be taller than the average kid, or maybe puberty came knocking on their door a little earlier, does not mean that wearing barrettes in their hair is something that they have to outgrow. They are still just 11 years old. That's the fact. Does not mean they need to rush and change their style to match an age they have yet to reach. And last time I checked, there was a trend where grown women were wearing big bows in their wigs to appeal to this coquette aesthetic. So let me get this straight. If you're wearing bows at your big age, then what's wrong with actual kids wearing barrettes in their hair? Yeah. Instead of encouraging these young kids to actually embrace their natural selves, and especially their natural hair as young black girls, and instead of encouraging kids in general to learn how to style themselves without heavy makeup and all the extra accessories like lashes and nails, a lot of grown women today are encouraging the opposite, and they are trying to justify it under this idea of self-expression. And we can see that very clearly when we look at the Northwest controversy, and if we use Northwest as a case study. Northwest is born in 2013, which makes her 12 years old today, going on 13. Of course, we need to take into consideration that she is a celebrity child. She is the daughter of Kanye West and Kim Kardashian, so naturally, compared to the average kid, her lifestyle will be drastically different. However, Northwest has been a controversial topic for a little while now due to her aesthetic and style, making her look older than she actually is. Again, she is 12 going on 13 in case you could not tell. The sad truth is that
does that look like a 12-year-old? You guys, does she look 12? I wouldn't, I couldn't tell. If I would have seen her walking down the street and she was anywhere above 5'5", I wouldn't know. So I understand that she's in a completely different society than everyone else, or the majority of people today. But say she wasn't. Say she was your random girl walking down the street looking like that. Would you think she's 12? I mean,
North is presenting herself in a way that makes her look more grown than some 20-year-olds today. Like many other preteens nowadays, North's style includes long nails, heavy makeup, big lashes, and wigs. And she also plays around with fake piercings and tattoos. For many grown women out there, she's living their dream. She's living the lives that they all wanted to live, living the childhood experience that they wanted to have.
Now, if I had a mother who was like, express yourself, go get the piercing. you know how like happy that would have made me at that age?
A childhood where your parents weren't constantly breathing down your neck, telling you what you could and could not wear. And a lot of grown women on X, on pretty much every social media platform, were trying to argue that if you were in her shoes with unlimited resources and money, would you not want to have the freedom to experiment the way she is right now?
It's so fascinating to see a child have access to such immense resource to express themselves. Could you imagine when you were 12 years old, being able to have a perfect vision of what your aesthetic and your...
I also think self-expression back then is completely different than self-expression today, because back then you were pretty much confined to the people who were in your area. You were confined to your surrounding area and the people who were there. In today's society with social media, you can see people hundreds, thousands of miles away. And you are comparing yourselves as children to these adult people. And I mean, that's got a lot to do with it, quite frankly.
taste was.
And my honest opinion to that is, just because you have everything and just because you may have all the unlimited resources does not mean you need to cross the boundary, does not mean you need to push the limit and cross that line. It's almost like that saying that when somebody has a lot of money and power, nobody is above the law, even though we suck at enforcing it. But I kind of think the same applies here. Northwest should still look like a 12-year-old, regardless of the fact that she grew up in Hollywood, in the lifestyle, has rich aunties, is surrounded by money and unlimited resources. But my gripe is really just with the grown woman that should know better and should also be aware of the consequences of a young girl looking a lot older than her age. There were plenty of women on X coming to Northwest's defense over this one picture where she truly looked like she was already 18 years old. People were saying the wildest things, calling everybody else broke, saying that we are jealous of a 12-year-old.
And I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. The reason y'all be shitting on Northwest is because y'all poor. Y'all poor, and a lot of y'all did not get to explore self-expression until you got your first job at 18.
Which is actually crazy, you guys. And I think it's important to highlight that this has nothing to do with over-sexualizing the child who is just not wearing something age appropriate. We should be able to call out when something is not age appropriate. And in reality, there are just things that are not meant for children.
No. You're 100% correct, my dear. We should be able to call out when things are not age appropriate. But we're not in that society today. Especially the men. Especially the men. The men's mentality today is, I'm going to take care of my own. The whole aspect of being a cultured society, I can't say that. The whole aspect of being a community, should I say, doesn't exist culturally. It doesn't. You cannot go up as a man to a mother and ask her or tell her that that's inappropriate, because one, that's just completely culturally unacceptable. I mean, so it's to the point today in which the women can't even tell the women, don't have a man do it. Don't have a man go to mom, or I mean, and I can't even say that. I was going to say, don't have a man go to dad and say it either, but if dad's there, if he's a strong man leading his house, kids wouldn't be wearing that. But that's not what's going on today. What's going on today is we have, and again, I'm not blaming the kids. I think this is a parenting issue. We have a lot of broken families, and because dads aren't with moms, fathers aren't with mothers, fathers aren't with daughters, mothers are with sons, fathers sometimes aren't, or vice versa. Throw it however you want to put it. That fractured part of the family makes it very, very difficult for that father to actually say, look, you have to do, you can't do this. People are going to treat you differently. I tell my daughter every single day, how you dress, how you appear to the outside world is how they are going to treat you. You will be treated that way. If you go out looking like somebody that's 22 years old, they're going to treat you like somebody that's 22 years old. I mean, we have to, as parents, start protecting childhood again.
There are certain pieces of clothing and silhouettes that children have no business wearing. They can wait a few years. It's really not that complicated. I just think it's sad that a lot of young girls and preteens and children in general don't have any media and entertainment that is strictly made for them the same way we had. We were able to cultivate and enjoy our childhoods, and we were told to prolong our youth for as long as we could. We were constantly reminded to enjoy being children. Even in Hannah Montana, the whole premise of the show is to remind Miley that she can enjoy both worlds, but she also is still a kid and she should enjoy being a kid. As adults, we all collectively just need to do better and encourage the youth to embrace their natural selves, to love themselves, to not be so wrapped up in perfection and everything that they see on social media. We also need to find ways to provide better examples for them to look up to, because clearly we're not doing the best job. So with that all being said, that is basically everything I have to say for this week's video. If you made it to the end, you're a real one. Comment down below a yellow heart so I know that you did, but also comment down below your thoughts and opinions because I love to read them. Don't forget to show some love on the way out. Hype this video, like it, subscribe down below to join this community.
Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah, you guys, we have to do a better job. We have to do a better job. Fathers, we have to do a better job. Men, we have to do a better job. We have to do a better job stepping up into our society and not really caring about what the backlash will be, because the backlash will be, believe it or not, only from our culture. It will. We have to protect childhood. We have to do a better job at that. As I said earlier, there are ways to do this. Allow our children to be children. Allow our girls to be girls. Let them run around, play outside. Give them an example of what they are to be looking for in the future. You are to be their first love. Date them. Open the doors for them. Speak to them calmly. The whole yelling and screaming aspect, no. Listen to them. Hear what they think about things. Give them proper guidance and advice. Allow them to fail safely. Allow them to fail in a controlled environment. We have to do better as parents. And if we do, we will end up putting out a better stock of people into society in the future. Thanks for listening to me, you guys. This is the voice of reason. I am Reason. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. You can catch me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night behind the scenes of Pop and Politics. We have a show tomorrow night. Check us out there. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you on the flip side. Peace.